Ever grabbed a Pepsi and just wondered where it really comes from? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on Varun Beverages. Now, you might not know the name, but trust me, you know their work. They're a global powerhouse, and their products are, well, probably in your fridge right now. So yeah, let's get into it.
I mean, look at these. You see them everywhere, right? The corner store, a restaurant. Maybe you've got one sitting on your desk. Pepsi is, of course, a global icon. Sting is that go-to energy boost for millions. These aren't just drinks. They're kind of part of the fabric of daily life.
But here's the thing. We all know the brands, obviously, but do you know the company that's actually putting these drinks in bottles and getting them into your hands? The one doing all the heavy lifting? That's the real story we're talking about today.
And here they are. Meet Varun Beverages Limited, or VBL for short. These guys are the powerhouse behind the scenes. We're talking about one of PepsiCo's largest and most important bottling partners on the entire planet. They are the muscle, the logistics, the whole operation that makes sure you can grab a Pepsi or a Mountain Dew pretty much anywhere.
Okay, so just how big is this operation? Let's dig into their story, which is really a story of just massive, massive growth. And their performance in 2024? It's pretty incredible.
All right, get ready for this. In 2024 alone, VBL sold over 1.1 billion cases of drinks. Just let that number sink in for a second. It's almost hard to imagine, and it gives you a perfect idea of the incredible scale we're dealing with here.
And you know all that volume? It translates directly into some serious financial success. Their revenue shot up by almost 25% in a single year. That's the kind of growth that really makes people sit up and take notice.
So the big question is, how does a company pull off that kind of explosive growth? It definitely doesn't just happen by luck, right? It all comes down to a really smart, really aggressive strategy. And their secret is pretty simple, really. It's all about aggressive and strategic expansion. They're constantly on the hunt for new markets to jump into, and at the same time, finding ways to get even bigger in the places they already are. And this is where you can really see that strategy in action. Just look at what they're doing. They're making this huge push into Africa. I mean, acquiring BevCo gets them a massive foothold in South Africa right away. Then they're signing deals in Tanzania and Ghana. But at the same time, they're not forgetting about their backyard. They're building 3 brand new facilities in India to keep up with demand there. It's a classic two-pronged attack. Dominate at home while you conquer new territories abroad. Really smart stuff.
Okay, but we all know that in today's world, it's not just about getting bigger and bigger, right? Growth for the sake of growth isn't the whole story. People, customers, investors, they expect big companies to be responsible. So how is VBL weaving sustainability into its future plans?
Well, this quote from their chairman, Ravi Jaipuria, really sums it up. He talks about an eco-steady approach. I like that term. It's not just about a quick win this quarter. It's about building something that's resilient and sustainable for the long haul.
And look, it's not just corporate talk. The numbers back it up. They recycled around 7,300 metric tons of PET plastic. That's giving thousands of tons of old bottles a new life. And then there's this water usage ratio of 1.56. Now that might sound technical, but it's super important. It basically means for every liter of soda they make, they use 1.56 liters of water. The goal is always to get that number lower and lower. It's a huge sign of efficiency. And their efforts go way beyond just the factory. Think about it. Water is their main ingredient, so being a good steward of water is just smart business. They have these big initiatives to rejuvenate local water bodies, basically restoring natural water sources. It's all about putting a critical resource back into the communities they rely on. All right, so we've seen the massive growth and the green initiatives. That's kind of the public-facing side of VBL. But now, let's pull back the curtain a little and see how a giant corporation like this actually works on the inside. We're going to peek behind the scenes at their annual general meeting. So what's an AGM? If you're not familiar, the annual general meeting is a super important event for any public company. It's basically a mandatory yearly get-together for all the shareholders, the actual owners of the company, to vote on big decisions. The easiest way to think about it, it's like a town hall, but for the company's owners. VBL has its next one coming up on April 3rd, 2025. This is going to be their 30th AGM, and it's where the shareholders get to have their say and really help steer the direction of the company for the coming year. So, what's actually on the table? What are these key decisions that are going to shape the future of VBL? Let's dive into the agenda.
Okay, so the main stuff they vote on is what's officially called ordinary business. It breaks down into three key things. First, they have to approve the financial statements from last year, kind of like giving the company a final grade on its performance. Second, they vote on paying out a dividend, which is how shareholders get a direct slice of the profits. And third, and this is a big one, they vote on who's going to lead the company by appointing the directors.
And this year, two really important people are up for reappointment. You've got Mr. Varun Beverages. He's the executive vice chairman and a huge force behind their whole expansion strategy. And then you have Mr. RJS Baga, who's the guy in charge of all the technical and production stuff, basically making sure everything runs smoothly. These are the folks steering the ship, and the shareholders get to decide if they stay at the helm.
So, what about that slice of the profits I mentioned? The board is proposing a final dividend of half a rupee per share. Now, that might not sound like a lot, but hey, if you're a big investor holding millions of shares, that adds up. It's a real, tangible return on their successful year. So there you have it. From the can of soda in your corner store, all the way to the big decisions being made on the stock exchange, the story of Varun Beverages is this amazing mix of massive scale, really smart growth, and a growing commitment to doing it all responsibly. And all this leaves us with a really interesting question, doesn't it? As VBL continues to expand across the globe, you have to wonder, what's the next big market they'll go after? And maybe more importantly, can they keep up this breakneck pace of growth while also sticking to those eco-study goals? Balancing those two things, that's going to be the real test.